Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Misty with Happy Planning with Misty, and today is more of a talk because I was asked by one of my viewers to show them the planner that I used when I was homeschooling Maddie and sort of walk you through how I set it up. So this is a little different because I'm not used to just getting on here and yakking without planning. So this is a Happy Planner teacher book, and this thing is big. I don't know really right off the bat what size it is, but anyway, it comes with these little tabs that you could put your months on, and then it comes with this kind of layout. And I didn't have to do very much decorating because these pages were already decorated and I loved them. And so yeah, I didn't have to do a lot at all. And plus it was more or less for me to, you know, just keep Maddie's schedule on each of her subjects. But if you've got more than one student, this is helpful. So this is what a month looks like. It is a Sunday start, which that could be easily changed, and you can make it, these are not, your tabs are not already filled in. You can start it whenever you want to start it. And so then we would go into a daily. So let me get a blank. Let me see if I got a blank one right here. So this is how the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday would go. And then up here I would write the subjects. So your math, English, science, history, Bible, and anything else she was doing, like art. And so each month was like that. This was more or less for me to keep an idea of what week we were on. Then this was how I laid out the week. Now this was more for me. Once I got it laid out like this, then I would take this goal card. You've got your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I would write math, English, science, history, and I would write the pages that I needed her to do each day on the card. And then I would just put this with her schoolwork. This is the school work that Maddie done. Now we went through a company called ACE. You've got your history, you've got math, you've got English, you've got science. And with any school classroom, you don't always finish everything that you're sent. But let's just do English, because I don't want to overload y'all with so much information you can't take it all in. But then I know that this is not gonna be something that just regular planner people. This is gonna be more for teachers and homeschooling moms. But if you was to go with this curriculum, with each subject you get 12, these are called paces. Within those paces is your test, and you pull out that test. It pulls away from the rest of the book. So like this is the English. This was talking about a thesis, how to write a thesis. Also, this is Christian based. So this is going to have scripture in it. This is going to have God in it. When it comes to science, it's not going to say 6 billion years ago. It's going to start with the Bible. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And it's going to go through science, but it's going to include God and everything. And like in English, if they are studying, let's think, subjects, verb, breaking down a sentence, they will break down that sentence, but that sentence could be part of a story that this whole pace has been telling about a missionary in Africa. But they use sentences out of that story to then break down into English and tell you what's the subject, what's the verb, what's the predicate nominative, your prepositional phrases, all that kind of stuff. So for me to find out what Maddie would do each week, I tried to do one of these paces in each subject every 2 weeks. So what I would do was go back to the very last page, and I would see that this pace is 35 pages. And so Monday through Friday is 5 days. 2 of those would be 10 days because you got 2 weeks that we're working with. So then I would divide 10 into whatever this page number is. And that's how many pages she would do a day. So 10 into that is close to 4 instead of 3.5. So I would go ahead and put English on Monday. We're doing pages 1 through 4. And then, Tuesday it's 5 through 8. And then ever so often, they have something that's called a checkup. So this is like where your quizzes come in. So the first few pages she's already had, here's a quiz for it. Then she would have a few more pages. And then you would come to the next quiz. Most of these books have 3 quizzes in them. Then they have something that's called a self-test. So this is not the test, but this is what will be similar to what is on a test. So if she can pass this, and she made good grades on her quizzes, she studies each quiz, and she studies this, and she has no problem with the test. So that's the way we would do books. Same thing with math. This is like one of her math. This is radicals. Here's one of the checkups. X equals, figuring out this is algebra. You go to the back of the page. I would go back there and see how many pages. Now I wouldn't count this page because this is nothing she's working on. This is just what she needs to do this math. So we got 32 pages. That's at least 3 pages a day in math. So then math, so she's got on Monday she's doing 4 pages in English. In math she's doing 3 pages. In history, let's see how much she would do. 57, so 60 pages. So we're doing 10 into 6. So we got 6 pages we need to do in English. English, a lot of the time, history. I keep saying English. Sorry. History, a lot of the times, was a lot of reading before you get to the questions. So, like this here. And this is talking about the Iron Curtain, China. Something called the sugarcane curtain and a bamboo curtain. And this is international and the Cold War. So you have 1, 2, 3. You had 4 pages before you start answering, the questions. The Korean War, Vietnam War. And then here we get to our checkup. And see, this is going to bring God into it. So that is going to be, I know, a problem for some people that don't want God brought into it or don't believe how creation was really done. I believe in creation. I believe that it happened the way God's Word says it's happened. I don't believe that the earth belched and we become, because we're too finite. The human is too specifically put together for any belch to have done it, in my opinion. So that's the reason I went with this company. Here is the science. In her science, now this is for your last 4 years of school. So in this science, it had two different things. It has, each page has the test you take out, and this also has lab pages to where you watch a video on your phone that talks about how electronic devices work. How did electricity work? And that's the lab part. So you watch how they explain it, watch the lab work. Like if they're going to make something explode or anything, they show it on the phone, the video you're watching, and then it answers these questions. And then you've got your, your science. This here, this is physics, and this is for 10th grade. So this is talking about fuel cells, carbon electrodes, electrochemical cells, battery type things. And so same thing I would do with her science. I would see how many pages we got in there. This I would have to go by the questions, not the reading. So let's see here. These are done in alphabet, not number. So how many letters in the alphabet? 24, 26? I don't know. So let's just say this is a 30 page. So then at least 3 of these pages in science each day. And so that gets you completed with all of these in 2 weeks. Then all she's got to do is set aside a day to take test. And sometimes depending on the subject, you have to be the mom and the teacher, so you need to look at how much she's having to consume. You might need to do science on a day totally by itself from history, English, and math, because science might be a lot to take in that day. But you're the mom, you know your kid, and you know if it needs to be divided up. So then she would have this in her room, and she would have it thumbtacked. And as she got through with each day, she would just cross it off. Then I would grab, when this week was over, I would grab this. I would grab her paces. Let me get one more thing. And I would grab the score keys. So this is totally separate. So like this number to this pace is 1142. Well, you will get the score key that goes with that pace, 1142, which this is not. But on the inside, it gives you the answers. And so I would check that week's work, and as I checked it, I would mark it off. If I come to a checkup, I would write what she made on that checkup. Then I've got test day. So these checkups, these grades, I would use normally only if her test grade was bad. So like if she needed, it would be like getting extra points in school. The quizzes were just to help the grade if the grade was real bad. But most of the time her grades wasn't real bad. But anyway, this was how, see, this is beautiful. I don't need to really decorate it. And then I used just a Happy Planner sticker book to put these dates down. And then I would go into the next day. And so I would put my dates down. You can write them in. You don't have to use stickers. I had a sticker book next to me that day for that week, so I just put it on there. But then I would just check it off each week that she was on track, I was on track, and then I would, send this in to the teacher, the principal at the homeschool we were under. But if you want to do those paces like that, if you go to the Christian Bible Bookstore website and type in paces, PACE, for whatever grade you're looking at, you can get them in the whole bundle for that year, or you can buy them separately. It's up to you. But you'll need the workbook and you'll need the score key so you can grade the work. But anyway, I just went to Walmart each year and got me a teacher book. And this is the way I done it the whole time I was planning out her years in school here at home. And it worked great for us. And so then I just keep it, like this was in the last 2 years, I think. So once I get her to college and I can think about how to store everything, I will keep these binders and stuff because there's still some good. It's just the work that I wrote down. I will pull it all out, put it in a big gallon Ziploc bag, and I'll write the year on it. So for some reason we ever need, now I'm only going to keep it for a couple of years. It's just in case we need anything while she's at college. But yeah, if y'all have any questions about homeschooling or need any advice or ever want a certain video, I will be more than happy to try to make it for you. This video is not very long because it was just centered around this teacher book, but I will be more than happy to do whatever any of y'all need me to do if it's within my power and I'm not breaking over. I ain't going to jail for y'all. I love y'all, but I ain't going to jail for y'all. So anyway, thank you for those that are going to watch and offer any feedback. I'm here. I don't mind. We can chat about it. It's no problem. So I hope y'all have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.